Lots of chat recently about the price of eMTBs, and rightly so, when the cost varies from, say, £500 up to bikes like this for 20,000. But how then do you measure price versus capability, especially when so many eMTBs have the same travel, same motor, same battery, and same frame geometry? I mean, take Levo 4 versus S-Works Limited. Pretty much the same bike apart from the frame material and the paintwork.
And yes, of course, the parts will affect bike prices on different models, but there are some far bigger things to consider first.
In this video then, the best price, best legit eMTBs, what they're capable of, the pros and cons of each, and some great examples of good ones and bad ones. Okay, folks, I'm here at the Rock Desert Festival in Fréjus, south of France. I'm on the hunt for these cheap, legit e-mountain bikes. One thing we need to get very clear is how cheap is too cheap, because what we're looking for is comfort, reliability, and also safety, because Rich and myself have ridden some very budget eMTBs on the channel over the years, and the horror stories from them is off the charts. So for example, when we're talking about comfort, you can get these cheap bikes which actually give you less control rather than more control. It's got noisy things that are falling off the bike, such things as tires which are too thin, brakes which don't work, and then suspension which is literally just a kind of feature than anything that gives you any performance advantage. In terms of reliability, I think, as we'll see in this video, a lot of particularly the mid-drive bikes, especially if you're going into difficult, challenging environments, then a mid-drive will be great. However, there are hub drive options which will give you great adventures. And one final thing, and that's safety. There are some horror stories out there about the electrics, especially on home mid kits, which have been assembled by people with no background in electrics, which lead to fires and burnouts in homes and garages all over the world. So safety is definitely paramount when you're looking for a bike. Well, the great news, folks, is there's a load of eMTBs out there at great prices. But what do we mean by legit eMTB? First point is actually it needs to be an eMTB, not just an e-bike. But what actually qualifies it as being legit? Well, three things, I think. The first necessity is that the bike needs to have a great eMTB system. And by that, we mean the motor, the battery, the display, and the controls. Secondly, the componentry specification on the bike. The wheels, the tires, the brakes, the gears, and the cranks. And the third point is that the whole system, the frame, geometry, the suspension design is actually going to complement your adventures and not hinder them. Right, now as soon as we're in France, I think a great place to start with these bikes is the Decathlon. Now the Decathlon Rock Rider EST 100 comes in at €999. Hub drive bike, it's got a decent fork, it's got hydraulic brakes, it's got a decent range battery, I think it's 380 watt hours. And a bike which is actually great for country cruising. It's quite interesting actually, because walking around the festival here, I've come across a couple of other riders who've got different variations of the Rock Rider bike in mid-drive and full suspension too. Let's go and meet them. This is Christophe from Dunkirk, got the Rock Rider 520S, 500 watt hour battery, got the Brose motor. This bike comes in at just over €2,000. I mean, I think it's a fantastic example of a proper legit e-mountain bike. Thank you, Christophe.
Thank you.
Okay, so here's Jack and his friend Serge from Fréjus with a fantastic example of a Decathlon Rock Rider ST505, 420 watt hour battery, mid-drive motor. It's a hardtail, but I guarantee you that's going to give you some fantastic adventures out in the hills. Thank you, Jack. Polygon, great examples of mid-travel, mid-drive eMTBs at prices under €5,000. This is the Siskiyou, actually starts at €3,900. Comes in two versions, actually. You've got the Shimano version with a 630 watt hour battery, or this is the Bosch version here with a 625 watt hour battery in the down tube. 150 mil travel, really good solid component spec on there, great performance. Right, what about if you're after something long travel, long range for a good price? £4,600 for the Lapierre Overvolt AM AL 5.8. AL meaning it's aluminium. Bosch CX motor, 800 watt hour battery, 170mm travel, RockShox domain fork, disc brakes, component set from Shimano, the Qs. And I got Shimano Qs on my bike. It is super reliable. It is low cost, low maintenance bike. So £4,600. That's a good buy. Now, one of the first distinctions to make with a legit eMTB at the right price is whether it's a hub drive bike or a mid-drive bike. The great thing with hub drives is the prices range from 500 up to 1,500, 2,000. But a mid-drive, there are far more options. There's more options when it comes to battery capacity. But critically, a mid-drive bike is going to give you better performance in an uphill scenario, particularly the steeper, more technical terrain. It's going to be better for heavier riders, and it's also going to be better in the wet because it's a far more sophisticated system. Now, one really, really important consideration, and I can't emphasize this enough, is to have a bike that fits you. This is especially true if you've got a mid-drive, mid-suspension bike. Lots of brands do have a range of sizes. This is a brand called Superior from the Czech Republic. Not only does it have 4 sizes for this 150mm travel bike, but it also comes in at our magical price point of under 5,000. This is actually 4,000 euros. You've got an 800 watt hour battery, as I said, ticking all the boxes, a great mid-drive motor, a component specification to match, and a bike. One really important factor is it actually looks really cool as well. So there's 4 models in this range, and there's 4 different price points. It's really good going to a mountain bike festival because you can get to test and ride so many different kinds of bikes, so different motors, different suspension travel, different sizes, different component specifications. So recently, to continue this story, I was at the Sea Otter Festival in Girona, where I actually found some other legit eMTB gems. So hot here in Girona. I was hoping to get one of the Canyon Neuron AL bikes here to show you. Canyon AL7, £3,799, 150mm travel, Bosch motor, range of batteries. In terms of performance for price, you know, £3,799, that's up there for sure, I think. And, you know, you get all the backup from Bosch, you get the range of batteries, and just a great component spec for a bike of that price. Okay, folks, I think I found something. This is Rieju?
That's right.
Rieju, something like that. It's from here in northern Spain. Now, this bike hasn't actually got the latest Bosch motor, but nevertheless, it's got a CX, one of the early CXs, 625 watt hour battery, 150mm travel. It's a full suspension bike with good products. It's got a Fox 36 on there. It's got hydraulic discs. It's got 29-inch wheels. And the price of this bike comes in at €2,999. So if you consider that you can get this bike, full suspension, for about the same price as a hardtail, then, you know, it's got a removable battery on there. It's a well-built bike. So this is the kind of bike which I reckon is a truly legit eMTB. Now, another distinction you need to make is whether you're going to go for a hardtail bike or a full suspension bike. Full suspension bike is going to give you more comfort, more control, more grip, and potentially more possibility in an off-road scenario. I got to tip my hat to Ollie behind the camera. He is on fire spotting the cheap legit e-mountain bikes. This is the Focus Thron, €3,999. I mean, that's insane because the component spec, the motor, the battery, the suspension, is the tires as well. Remember, those are really important. I just want to touch on the QS derailleur system on this bike. Gives you crisp shifting. But the point I want to make is that when you're replacing the parts on your eMTB, bear in mind that a QS is going to cost you 60 quid. The cassette's going to cost you less than 100. So bear in mind there's replacement parts on an eMTB because you're going to be higher turnover than on an MTB. Now, at the head of this video, we talked about how do you measure price versus performance, and we used the Levo 4 compared to the Levo S-Works Limited bike with the same motor, same battery, same geometry, just different frame material, and I have to add different componentry. To end the video, I'm going to actually draw your attention to the Megamo from Girona in Spain. And I think when it comes to price and performance, this bike is very difficult to beat for some reasons. Now, this is a bike with factory forks, factory suspension, carbon frame, carbon, blah, 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 blah. Now, the important thing to understand is when you compare this Megamo Reason, which has got all the expensive component parts in it, to the so-called entry-level one, which comes under the 5,000 marker, which we set out to achieve in this video, the performance, especially when it comes to uphill, is pretty much identical. And the reason for that is got the Avinox motor with 1,000 watts peak power, 800 watt hour battery. And the same as the Levo, it's exactly the same frame dimensions, motor and battery. The battery and the motor combined gives you great efficiency. And what we want as e-mountain bike riders is an efficient system which actually gives you more riding time. So that's our short list, a very short list of cheap, legit e-mountain bikes. I mean, look, 5,000 is by no means cheap. I mean, you're looking at 10 years ago, the Lever was £3,500, I think, for the base model. So the prices have gone up, but there's still some fantastic buys out there for you guys to ride on. Let us know your thoughts. If you've got any ideas or you want to add to this, please let us know in the comments below.